Hello everyone, welcome to my class. I am Dr. Ganesh from India. So today what we are going to discuss in this class is the data types in Python language programming. So last two classes we have discussed 7 different types of data types. So the very first class we have discussed integer, float, complex and boolean. And the next class we discussed string data type, byte data type, byte array data type. So in this class we are going to discuss another 3 different data types. That data types are list, tuple and then range. So starting from string, byte, byte array, list, tuple and range, these are all the data types which are all mostly used in our program based on the situation that arises in our program. So byte and byte arrays also, there are array of data we can able to create, whereas only the different is going to be a mutable and immutable. The same way here also there is a slight variance is going to be there, but I am going to explain that in what situations you can use the list data type and what situation you can use the tuple data type and what situation you can use the range data types. The first data type now we are going to discuss is the list data type. So list of, which is going to list of different data to be represented. So if you want to list some different data types in your single array, that can be possible with the help of data type. So the main point is here is the insert is preserved. It means that if I am going to insert the first data, that data is going to be the first always in this list. So if I am going to enter it as second, it is going to be maintained in the second. So that is why it is called it as an insertion order is preserved. And the second important point is that duplicates are allowed. So maybe in my list the first one data is going to be X, the third data is also going to be X, that is also can be allowed because the insertion order is preserved. Because of this insertion order is preserved, so otherwise what will happen? If the insertion order is not preserved, then automatically the duplicates are not allowed in your array of data. So that is a major advantage when you can go with an list data type. So wherever the applications you want to maintain the order, then you need to go for a list, and wherever you want to maintain an order as well as the duplicate, then your data type should be in list data type. First example we can see that, so that you will understand that how the list data type can be developed. So L is equal to, I am going to open a empty list. In that empty list I want to feed the different data types into my list. So L is equal to empty, open and close. Then now I am going to see that what is the type it belongs to. So type open bracket, L the close bracket, then the compiler will tell that this class is list data type. So now L with a open and close bracket is an empty list data type. So now I want to feed the data. So how I can able to feed the data into my list? The first data. So whatever the identifier I have used here, L is going to be an list here. So L dot append, I am going to append the data to my list. Append, what data I am going to append it? 10. So the first data is going to be 10 in my list, and then L dot append, second data is going to be a 20 I am going to append, third data I am going to append is 30, and the fourth data is also I am going to append the first data, that is 10. That is why I am giving here 10, because you need to understand that list data type is going to allow duplicate data. So L dot append 10. Now I want to check whether all these 4 data has been inserted into my list or not. And also second I want to check whether the duplicate data are accepted or not. To prove that, print, I am going to print my entire list. If it is going to print the entire list, then automatically whatever I have appended, whether the order has been preserved or not and the duplicates are allowed or not, I want to check. You see that 10, 20, 30 and 10. So the duplicates also allowed. At the same time, the insertion order is also preserved. So list data type, wherever you want to append the data, as well as you want to append there is a chance for a duplicate data, then you can highly recommend to use this list data type in your Python language programming. Next data type is tuple data type. This tuple data type is also similar to list data type. There is only one difference, is that here the tuple data type is immutable, whereas the list data type is mutable. The mutable means you are allowed to change the data, because during the course of your program itself, you can able to append the data. Because the order is also preserved, you can easily change the data also. So the list data type is mutable, whereas the tuple data type is immutable. It means that the data are not going to change. In between, you want to change any of the third data or second data, the tuple data type will never allow. If you want to create a record in your Python program, I want to create a record with different data types. The first data type may be an integer, the second data type may be a float, third data type may be a string, and fourth data type may be a boolean. It is allowed. The tuple and list data types are allowed to use, but only thing is that here there is a slicing and star operators also allowed in tuple data type. For example, if you see this first program, so I am going to declare the tuple data. So T open bracket, the first data I want to feed the integer 10, and the second data type I want to insert one string data type. So if I want to insert a string data type, what I have to do? Either I have to use single quote or double quote or the triple quotes you are allowed to use, but we are not going to use a multiple line. So you can use either a single quote or the double quotes. So here I have used a single quote. Inside the single quote, GAN, short form of my name, the second string data type introduced, and the third data type is the boolean. Either true or false you are allowed to use. So true boolean data type, and then again the duplicate data also I have been given. So you see the first integer data, string data, boolean data type, and the duplicate integer data type. Either you can take an integer or string or boolean or whatever you can take. So now this is my tuple data type. In this tuple data, I want to get the first data. So as like a byte and byte array, the same way you can get your datas. T of 0, then it will take the first data. If it is going to be T of 1, it is going to take the second value, string value. There are another two important functions we can able to use the tuple data type, that is slicing can be done as well as the star operator can be used. What is an slicing and what is an star operator? If it is a slicing operator, so as we all know that if it is going to be a list, byte, byte array or tuple data type, it is going to be a big array of data. Sometimes we may be having a 500 data or 300 data, but I want to get only a small piece of my data. I want to use it for my function. So I need to slice it from the entire tuple or from the entire list. I want to slice it some part and I want to use it for my program. So it is highly allowed. How you can use that slicing operator? That thing is, we know that T is going to define the tuple data. So tuple identifier, this is going to be then tuple datas are available. I want to take only these 3 datas. So T of 0, what is the starting and what is the ending I need to give. in that slicing operator. 0 to 3 I want to get. So 0 is this, 1 is this, 2 and 3. So 10 GAN and true, that only that particular part alone will be taken. And also the second, the star operator, I want to multiply it, I want to repeat it. Some entire array I want to multiply in 2 times or 3 times or 4 times. That is also allowed with the help of star operator. So T of 1, now I am going to create a new tuple. The first tuple array of data is going to be a T. Now the new tuple is T of 1, that is T star of 2. It means it is going to multiply by 2. So automatically after you putting this instruction, then it is going to multiply your tuple data, entire data into 2 times. That is going to be your new tuple T1. Whether it is really it has been converted or not, I want to check it. Now T1, if you are going to print T1, then automatically which is going to print 10 GAN true, 10 again 10 GAN true, 10. So 2 times it has been created. Now this is the new tuple data type for T1. So tuple data type is similar to list. You can have a multiple data types in your single array, and also you are allowed to use a slicing as well as a star operator in your program. Next data type is range data type. If I want to create some range of data, then the range data type we are allowed to use. So which is going to represent a sequence of values. This is always immutable, you are not allowed to change. And second condition is the float is not allowed. You are not allowed to use float value inside your range data type. And also it is immutable, you are not allowed to change. And here also there are 3 different forms I can able to create my range data type. The basic form, the form 1, the range is of 10. I want to create my range is 10. Range of 10 means automatically it will take the value from 0 to 9, 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 9. So this is a first form of range. But always during our program we are not going to start from 0 to 10 or 0 to some x value. Sometimes I want to use it in between values. I want to use it for 10 to 30 or 30 to 40. That is a second type of range. The form 2 is the same range 10, 20. It means it will start from 10 up to 19, 10, 11, 12, 13 up to 19. So I am going to take a range from 10 to 20, it means the 10 to 19 values. And the third form is I want to take some range with some incremental values. For example, I want to take even numbers. I want to take within that range, I want to take a even numbers. That is also allowed. But here we have given one example is that incremental value is 5, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, likewise I want to take. So form 3 is range. Range has to start from 10 and ends to 30 with the incremental value is 5. If you want to use the same kind of things in a C or Java, you need to write a loop program, you need to write at least a few lines of coding so that you can able to get those data. Whereas here the range 10, 30, 5, the incremental value will be taken by 5, the range is starting from 10 and the range will be ends at 30. So the values are going to be 10, 15, 20, 25 and 30. So it is a incremental of 5. So one example program, how you can able to declare inside your program, R is equal to range of 10. So it is a form 1 type. So I want to check, I want to print all the data so that we can verify it whether the range has been created or not. For I in R, print I. So after that R, I need to print for a for loop. So which is going to print value from 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 9. It is in the first form. Hope you understand these three data types. The data types are list, tuple and range data types. Thank you for watching my class.